Landlords in Kansas City are fighting back against a city regulation that made it illegal for them to reject tenants who have Section 8 vouchers. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. Alright, so I have an interesting topic for you today, and it's coming out of my hometown of Kansas City. Now, it has to do with the law that they passed recently that said that landlords have to accept tenants with Section 8 vouchers. Okay, basically, it is one of those things where they call it source of income discrimination. Now, I don't consider it discrimination. I don't consider it a source of income, and I believe that the Section 8 program should be voluntary, 100% voluntary. Landlords who want to participate in it should be allowed to, but those who don't should be allowed to do whatever they want. Okay, it's our properties. We don't have to put in your Section 8 tenants if we don't want to. Now, this was part of the reason why I decided, hey, I don't want to be up in Kansas City area investing anymore. I sold all my properties in the Kansas City area just this year. And, you know, it wasn't just that, but it was one of the contributing factors. Now, my properties were in Independence, Missouri, not in Kansas City itself, but as people who know the area know, Independence is in the exact same county as Kansas City. It's in Jackson County, Missouri. And if the laws work, you know, basically I was afraid that the law could bleed over into Independence, and it's very possible. So, you know, I'm not in favor of these sort of laws whatsoever. And when I saw that Kansas City was passing this sort of thing, it's taking away what I thought was one of the great things about Kansas City. It's a very landlord-friendly place. It's a place where, hey, you have your property rights. You're allowed to operate your business as you see fit. But Kansas City itself is an island of progressivism, and I hate it. I hate the fact that they want to push this progressive agenda where they want to basically treat landlords like we are second-class citizens, like we shouldn't have property rights. Well, you know what? Landlords are fighting back. They're suing. They're suing over that stupid law, and hopefully it gets repealed. Now, I said before that the best way for them to fight it would be at the state level. Get state representatives to basically make it so that these local jurisdictions aren't able to pass laws that, you know, are contradictory to what the state law says. That's what my personal opinion is. But that's not what's happening. This is the first step. Maybe a law like I'm suggesting at the state level will get passed because these landlords are suing. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. So what do you think the best way to fight against these laws that are mandating landlords to accept Section 8 vouchers? What do you think the best way is to fight them? Put a comment in the comment section down below. Like I said, we need state level laws that clarify that, hey, your little local jurisdiction, no matter how far left leaning it is, you can't pass a whole bunch of rules and regulations that contradict what the state law says, okay? Now, the reason I say that that is a good way to do it is because Missouri, the state of Missouri, has already done it. They recently also passed a law saying that local municipalities cannot pass their own eviction moratoriums. So if they're able to do that with eviction moratoriums, why can't they do that with these laws that are saying that landlords have to accept Section 8 vouchers? Okay? But anyway, let me get into this story, tell you all the details about it. This article is coming from KCTV5.com, and it says, KC landlords fight back against housing ordinance. Let's get into it. The fight between landlords and tenants in Kansas City has been elevated to the federal level because of an ordinance that aims to prevent income discrimination. Landlords Kennedy Jones and Stephen Vogel are the plaintiffs in the federal lawsuit. They are being represented by Lewis Rice, Kansas City attorney Doug Stone. The lawsuit argues that the Kansas City ordinance, which comes with a $1,000 penalty fine on landlords, ultimately goes too far in its authority. It claims Section 8 housing vouchers are a federal program that is voluntary for landlords to be a part of, and the ordinance makes it an involuntary mandate. So the first thing I really like about this lawsuit is that it is being filed at the federal level, not at the state level, because a lot of the times the people in the federal government, you know, when we're talking about federal courts, they are more willing to look at our side of the situation, how this is affected, you know, how we are affected constitutionally, okay? And remember, I've always said that, you know, these laws like this, they're an unconstitutional taking of our property rights, right? And, unconstitutional taking of private property for public use without just compensation, okay? So that's what my personal belief is with these laws, and the same going for a lot of the landlord-tenant laws that they've passed recently. Not only is this a solution in search of a problem, it's a solution that has the potential to make the situation worse, Stone said. This is an ordinance that just went one step too far by mandating that a person waive their constitutional rights in order to become a landlord in Kansas City. The city ordinance went into effect in August. It was largely a response to landlords that were advertising properties that asked tenants with prior evictions or tenants receiving Section 8 housing vouchers to not apply. Yeah, and there should be nothing wrong with that, okay? If you have a Section 8 housing voucher and a landlord doesn't want to have to deal with it, guess what? They shouldn't be forced to deal with it. The reason a lot of landlords don't want to deal with Section 8 housing voucher, well, I've gone over this 1,000 times. You know. And simply put, that's their choice. Now, if you as a landlord personally want to participate in the program, and I know lots of landlords who do, I have participated in the program before, okay? If you want to participate in this program, then you go ahead and do it. But I draw the line when it's the government mandating that you take. What's next? Are they going to pick the tenants out for you to go on your property? They're going to be like, here, you must take this person here. I mean, that's what this sounds like. That's where this is going, okay? It's going to go to the point where they're going to literally bring people over to your house, say you have to house that person, regardless of if they are a good tenant or not. And that's where I draw the line, okay? If the government is that interested in making sure these people are housed, they need to do it themselves and not force this upon landlords. The next step for the federal lawsuit is for the city to issue a responsive pleading that explains why the city disagrees with the lawsuit. Mayor Quentin Lucas said the point of the ordinance is to ask landlords to look at tenants from a holistic review before rejecting them. I think this case is without merit, Lucas said. Making sure that we have protections for tenants is important. If you read the legislation, it does not bar any landlord from looking into any number of things in a tenant's background. See, the problem, though, is that it makes it so that rejecting the person with the voucher is, you can't do it. So the reason, it doesn't matter what their background is if you don't want to deal with the program itself. And that's something that, that he doesn't seem to realize, okay? You don't want to deal with the program itself. It has nothing to do with the tenant. There's a lot of landlords like me who do not want to deal with the program because it is bureaucratic, it is awful, okay? I've dealt with it, gone through multiple inspections every single year. The tenant's up in there having to fix a bunch of crap that you would never have to fix otherwise. Just give me a break, okay? Waiting for 6 weeks before I got my first rental payment from them. Meanwhile, if I had put a normal tenant in there, I would have got that first payment immediately. It's idiotic, okay? It's absolutely idiotic. Now, like I said, this doesn't have to do with the tenants themselves all the time, okay? Sometimes it does have to do with the tenants themselves. But you know what? Like I said, it's our choice. It's our property. And I can just simply say, hey, I'm not going to put any tenant in there. You can't force me to do what you think I should do. No, leave me alone. Leave us alone to operate our businesses as we see fit. Why is that so hard for these politicians to do? Okay? They always want to mess with other people's money. That's because they're politicians. They don't know what it takes to actually make money. KC Tenants advocated for the legislation. Maya Neal is the leader and organizer of the group. The community members who are bringing forth the lawsuit are wanting to prioritize a landlord's profit over tenants' lives and a safe and healthy community, Neal said. We know that there are fewer and fewer places in Kansas City that the poor and working class tenants can live, and housing vouchers and other forms of assistance provide key stabilizations to people in need. Well, see, and these community members and these tenant rights groups, and they're idiotic, okay? Yes, we're prioritizing our profits. I don't care nothing about if you have somewhere to live. I am not a social worker. I am not a homeless shelter. I'm not your mama. So here, grow up. You figure out where you're going to live and let me worry about how I can make money. Because like I said, I don't have to invest there. I don't have to buy one single house there. I don't. Okay? You think that you are somehow forcing me to provide you housing? No. Grow up. These people are immature children. They act like, hey, there should be someone to give me everything, whether it be the government or some other landlord. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. And you know what I suggest landlords do? And I've always suggested this, right? If it ever gets to the point where you don't feel like you have control of your property, leave. Take your money elsewhere. Let these cities rot. I'd even let my hometown of Kansas City rot rather than be forced to do something that I don't want to do. So what do you think? Do you agree with me? Landlords should be able to rent to whomever they want and not rent to whomever they want? Or do you agree with this legislation that, hey, landlords should be forced to take these Section 8 tenants? Put a comment in the comment section down below.